hurts. Fucking life sucks. Everything hurts.
Welcome to Everything Hurts. I'm Nicole Buchanan. This is my guest, Doug Fager.
Hi, I'm Doug Fager, everybody. Hello, Nicole. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for asking, Doug.
I did ask this time. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did.
I did ask this time.
Oh, were you going to say I didn't ask?
Yeah.
I didn't ask to be here, Mom.
Yeah. No, thank you for being here. I'm very fired up today. I'm dealing with some anger, but that's part of life, dealing with anger. I don't really know how to deal with it productively because I feel like anger is a new emotion for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't allow myself to be angry for a really long time, and I would just fall into depression instead of allowing myself to be angry. And like, that's more, I guess, like a victim mentality that I had.
Have you tried physical violence?
Not yet, but I'm getting there. I might.
Brian,
I
can
might
we
get
switch
there
seats?
But yeah, it's a new emotion for me, anger, and I'm learning how to deal with it. I do think, maybe I need to get a punching bag or something.
Yeah, got one up front. You can hit it.
Hell yeah!
I've also got a big truck tire and a sledgehammer.
I think the last time I tried to hit a punching bag, I hurt my hand.
Yeah.
Does the anger feel good? Like, does it feel
A
better
little.
than the other options that you used to have?
It feels good to release it. Mm-hmm. Like, it feels good to like talk about it and be like, fuck, like, it feels, but it doesn't feel good to have it inside of you. Like, I don't know. I was always uncomfortable with it because, I grew up around angry people and I didn't like it. And so I kept my anger inside and just decided to be a little bitch about everything. And
No, I get that. 'Cause
no more being a little bitch.
If you're also the anger, then it's just anger all the time. So you got to be the different thing. You got to fill the gap in the family.
Yeah, you just got to be the peacekeeper, the person that dissolves tension.
But now you're ready.
And
to
now I'm a
burn
comedian.
This motherfucker down.
I love it.
Maybe I'll become not a tension dissolving comedian. Now I'll be an angry comedian.
Ooh, like a Lewis Black.
Yeah, I'm gonna go full. I'm gonna go full. Who's the screaming guy?
Dennis Leary.
Nope.
Gilbert Godfrey.
Nope.
R.I.P.
The screaming guy. He had a song where he's
Sam
just like,
Kinison?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go full Sam Kinison. I'm finding my voice.
That'd be hilarious if you started. Do you know how to yell? Is that in you?
You know what? It sounds weird when I try to yell. Like I don't yell from like my diaphragm. It's like up here, so I end up sounding like a Muppet when I try to
I
yell.
imagine it cracks and warbles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do if you get angry enough, do you start crying?
No. Well, yes, I did. But that might have been because it was mixed with sadness. But when when I heard about like the Roe v. Wade stuff, I got so angry that I was like crying.
Because you hate condoms.
Yeah. I don't use them. I really don't.
And who can remember to take a pill?
I've always been a gambling woman. I'm not proud of it. Because birth control made me crazy, and condoms suck. But
she's like, she always takes the insurance when she's at the table.
100%.
And at this point, I'm just hoping that I'm infertile, and that's why I haven't gotten pregnant yet. Because I don't want kids.
That's the future right there. Yeah. That's the future of this country. People hoping they're infertile.
You don't ever want kids.
No. This has been coming up a lot. Yeah. But maybe because of the Roe v. Wade. So, no, I don't. I mean, I am afraid that I might change my mind one day, and by then it'll be too late. But no, as of right now, I don't think I ever want kids. It's just like, it doesn't fit into my life at all. you know, and I'm too selfish. I'm too self-absorbed to have a child.
I feel like that's part of the reason why people have children. It's the narcissism of like, oh, we need more of this. out
Right.
there.
I also think there's like a chemical change that you like most people, not all, but a lot of people go through where you can't be self-absorbed anymore.
I have heard that.
But there are some plenty of self-absorbed parents out there who seem to overcome that chemical.
Yeah.
I thought you meant the chemical of where it's just like women hit 30, 31, and then just.
Oh, yeah,
it's
the
just
screaming
like,
eggs.
I have to have a baby, and they do wild stuff to make sure to ensure it.
Yeah.
Well, even like, cause I'm not gonna lie, I'm 29 and I have started like, I'll see a video of a baby online and I'm like, oh my God, like it does do something to me.
Yeah.
Like it does. There is something that happens in my body that I'm like, oh, but then when I think logically about it, I am able to turn that off. I'm able to be like, no, I'd rather just look at other people's babies. And, you know, I wish you could rent them.
Really?
Yeah, I wish
that
you could.
seems bad for the baby.
Wish you could rent a baby. Why? It's like babysitting, except you're paying them to do it.
Yeah, but it's like, how do you treat rental cars?
It's true.
You get the insurance on the baby. And
Look at all the mileage on this baby.
Yeah. He's got the stickers where they've already identified the previous scratches and bruises on it.
Somebody smoking around this baby. This baby smells like smoke.
Yeah, you just abandon it on the side of the road. Because you can do that with cars.
Yeah, 100%.
They have to go pick it up. I think I learned that from a Louis C.K. bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I never checked the actual facts of that bit.
Yeah, but I mean, they have to go get it.
Right. But
You
I don't know
know?
what happens like financially because
Right, they might
Yeah.
charge you a
he
bunch.
had enough money to buy the Ford Taurus or whatever he left behind.
That's true.
They just charged it.
Do you guys get the insurance when you rent a car?
Well, I use a credit card that has the insurance on it. You know, almost every credit card has rental insurance.
Really?
Yeah.
I
They
didn't
don't
know
tell you
that.
this shit.
Card. Okay.
You just call your credit card company and be like, hey, if I rent a car with this card, am I insured? And they'll tell you.
Does that work the same with babies?
I'm not sure. I've never bought a baby on a credit card.
Gotcha. Okay.
I've always paid cash.
You break the baby.
Yeah.
The baby. You had a pothole with the baby.
You don't want a receipt trail
You-
when you start dealing with that stuff. It's a cash only kind of trade.
The
Pesos.
The one time that I did rent a car, I did get the insurance and I did crash it, so it was worth it. It was definitely worth it. I know what kind of driver I am, so I got the insurance. Yeah,
Is this like, did you back it into something or did you get into a car wreck?
I got into a car accident. Yeah, or no. Actually, I think I got into an accident with a pole. I think I sideswiped a
I
pole.
feel like the reason why you mix that up is because you've been in a ton of accidents.
I've been in a lot of accidents. Yeah, it's actually been a while. I should knock on wood or some shit, but like it's been a while. But in my like early 20s, oh yeah, all the time.
Can we each take one guess as to what make and model the car was? Just real quick. I don't know why I need to know this.
The rental?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nissan Altima.
How did you know that?
Fuck you. You're
No,
messing with me.
I'm dead serious.
I didn't even get to guess. That game sucked.
I am dead serious.
Oh man.
Is that just like a really common car at rental places?
I just saw you in a Nissan Altima. I just feel these things. I have a nose
Wow.
for rental car histories.
That's
Yeah.
100% what it was. It was a Nissan Altima.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Is that a cheap car? Is it a cheap car?
No, it's like a whatever.
Mid-range. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was I thought it was nice. It was nicer than the car. Okay, so I was renting it because I got into an accident with my other car.
Jesus Christ. Nicole.
That one wasn't my fault though. It wasn't my fault, and that's why their insurance was paying for me to rent a car. Or no.
Did you have a third car?
No. No, because it was still drivable. Like, I just kind of sideswiped it. Like, it was still drivable. I just returned it, and I was like, sorry. It's, like, scratched up on the side. But, yeah. No, and I make fun of my boyfriend for being a terrible driver, and I forget what a terrible driver I am.
Right.
But I'm such an anxious passenger. And an anxious driver, but I'm such an anxious passenger. And I'm like, why am I more anxious as a passenger when I know I'm a worse driver than 90% of people.
Do you feel as though like you're just always afraid you're going to get in an accident or get hurt?
Yeah.
Is that the,
Well, are you ever like speeding down the freeway? Not like speeding, but like going freeway speed, and you just realize like,
Down
oh
the freeway,
fuck,
yeah.
I'm going fast, and
Mm-hmm.
and I could just be hit,
Mm-hmm.
or I could just run into this wall that's 5 feet away.
I do
You
think,
know?
yeah.
It just like you have this moment where you're like, fuck. And that moment for me is most of the time.
It's like when you're standing on a ledge or like super high up, and you're like, man, any wrong move here, dead, just dead. Yeah, there's an existential situation every time you're going that fast,
And
because
it's-
any wrong move and you.
Yeah, and it's not even completely under your control because, like, you know, a drunk driver comes and, you know, just fucks you up.
Yeah, I always think about that, but it's far more frustrating to not be going death speeds.
Totally. I gotta get where I'm going, man.
Yeah. I feel way more panic and frustration when I'm at a safe speed.
Yeah, you gotta be an offensive driver.
Yeah. When I'm stuck in traffic, I'm far more uncomfortable than when I'm going 80, and I know that. I mean, I don't care. I could die. At least I'm getting there fast.
Yeah, traffic frustrates me also. I fucking hate driving. I'm trying to like avoid it as much as possible lately. I Uber when I can.
I hate Ubering.
Really? It just takes so much stress off of me because I get so angry. See, it's this anger thing that's new to me, but I get very angry behind the wheel now.
Yeah.
And so no. It's probably bad for my blood pressure and shit.
Do you actually feel like you may die in those moments? Like, is it real dread? Like, or is it just that little thing where you're like, man, I could totally freaking die right now. This is wild.
It's like I'm like squeezing the fucking wheel.
Every time you drive.
Yeah. I always have back pain, but my back pain and shoulder pain and neck pain get worse when I'm driving because I'm so tense. and Zach Stein actually pointed this out to me because he used to be a really nervous passenger. It used to drive me insane how nervous of a passenger he was. And then he's like lightened up. And I was like, how'd you do that? Because I've gotten more anxious. And he was like, well, you know, like when you hear about like a drunk driver hitting somebody and they die and the drunk driver doesn't, because when you're drunk, like your muscles are all loose or whatever. And he was like, so when I'm afraid, I just like, I try to actively like relax. For him, probably. Yeah. But it's wild, you know. There are so many things, and right now I'm on anti-anxiety medication, which is good because usually I just go about life being like, what can go wrong?
Do you listen to music? Does that help? Like, do you have a song where
Yeah.
you're like, okay, if I get into this, then I'm not thinking about what's that?
Bop.
That you play that.
You like aren't you like young for that song? That's
Yes.
like classic rock for you.
But
I'm like, that was when I was a kid.
it's such a
Zeppelin, Hanson.
Yeah.
it's such a happy song, and I it makes me way less stressed if I can just crank some bop and sing along. It's my de-stressor is dancing to bop, and sometimes like young Michael Jackson. Like boyhood Michael Jackson.
Like Jackson 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also very like, you know.
What's that song? What's that song that's kind of in that bop range where it's the bald guy, he's singing in a
New Radicals?
The New Radicals.
Yeah.
Don't let the
music in
Oh,
your-
yeah.
That might help you not.
How do I remember the band name and not the song?
That
I like their other shit.
Yeah, I like their later stuff.
You get what you give.
I feel like that's one of those songs that at one point was in like every movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every
like,
Hugh Grant movie or something.
yeah, that's how I know.
Can't hardly wait. Anything
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Yeah.
Some kind of feel good thing where the
Rom-com,
most beautiful
yeah.
person in the world is regular.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm taking acting classes right now. Actually, that were recommended to me by Doug, and it's weird. Like on the first day of the first class, We had to like, it was on Zoom, and we had to look into the camera and just say our name like as neutral as possible, and then have everyone else tell us like how they see us, basically. And
Should we do this with Voki?
I know him too well, so I can't.
true.
It's not
You
like a
could do it,
first
yeah.
impression, like what you're walking in with to an audition. You know what I mean?
What did
Yeah.
you get?
So it was really all over the place. I got like party girl and like music festival girl, which I think that's just that I look high all the time.
Yeah, I don't see that in you at all.
And then the one that fucked me up was Midwestern mom. I was
I
like,
see that.
fuck you.
I see
Just
that.
fuck you.
I'm sorry, I see it. I know you're new to anger. Please don't hurt me. I would also assume you had a huge Funko Pop collection.
What's a Funko Pop?
Those little big-headed vinyl toys that everybody collects that comes in the box.
Oh, yeah, I know what those are.
Yeah.
What about me says that?
You still don't know what I'm talking about?
I still don't know what you're talking about,
You
but
keep
I
going.
know.
I'll pull one
Okay.
up for you.
Midwestern mom. To me, you're always gonna feel too young for that because I met you when you were so young.
I'm still young. I'm still in my 20s, okay?
Well,
Well,
I'm way
barely.
I'm way younger than both of you. Shut the fuck up.
yeah, but who cares? I'm old.
Yeah,
what does that matter?
Yeah, but as a woman, so I mean,
I know. Yeah,
Well,
that's
it's
true.
not even
awful.
it's not even the mom part that bothers me, because I feel like you can be a mom when you're 23, you know? Like you can be a mom whenever, and
16.
then you can also be a hot mom. It doesn't matter. For some reason it was the Midwestern mom that just seems like, oh, she eats a lot of cornbread.
You know what it is? You have a sense that like there's a certain time of the day every day where you have your first glass of wine. There's like I think I get that sense.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
something about
Oh, for sure.
Like it's 3:30 on the dot. Pour
Wine
the
mom,
Pinot Gris.
wine
and
mom, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I have the wrong impression of what Midwest means.
I thought you were Southern when I first met you.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember you saying you're from Orange County, and I was like, oh, I would have never guessed.
Nobody ever thinks I'm from Orange County. No one ever thinks I'm from here.
Yeah.
But I've gotten like every other thing. I've gotten East Coast, Midwest. I don't know if I've ever gotten Southern, actually.
I think what that's saying is Alaska.
Alaska.
You put all those together, you
Yeah,
get
you
Alaska.
get Alaska.
Are Alaskans like almost Canadians, basically?
I don't know what they are, but they feel like Southern Midwesterners to me.
Actually, I could see myself as a Canadian also.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what the other things and the other things they said were mostly like a good friend or like a confidant or like I'm like, I get it. I'm like the kind of chubby, goofy best friend.
They were just singing the Golden
got
Girls
it.
theme to you. You're a friend and a confidant.
Did you guys have to do that on the first day of
We
tour?
did.
What did people say about you?
Can I tell you what I would have said? You
Please.
strike me. You have the energy of all the American white basketball players. Like with your haircut and your look, like I was like, you got a JJ Redick vibe.
Nice.
You
Okay.
got like Gordon Hayward.
That's a
Yeah.
compliment. I
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
turn on this.
Like I
sound.
started 3 years.
It
at
looks
Duke.
better with it off.
I played
Does
all.
it?
Yeah.
I didn't go early. I stayed all 4 years. At
Yeah, you
Duke.
stayed on 4 years. You have a 3-point shot, and that's the reason why you're there.
Yep.
See, it kind of pops nicer.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's the vibe I would have got.
Yeah, I'll take. Yeah, I kind of like that. What's the guy who played with like all of LeBron's
Mike
teams?
Miller?
Mike Miller.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
I got like, excuse me, guy who this is a weird one. Guy in a zombie apocalypse who doesn't want to kill right away, like a good guy that doesn't want to kill, but then gets really
There's
good.
no way.
at it.
That's so
Stop trying to be
specific.
creative. That's
Yeah,
that
yeah.
person was just trying to have the thing.
Yeah.
I would have said
nailed it. Got
yeah,
it.
I would have said douchebag for that person. Shut up. That's not what you think. Nobody thinks that when they first see somebody.
I also got like coolish teacher.
I get that.
Oh yeah,
Fun
for sure.
dad.
Yeah.
A lot of fun dad stuff. Kind of like former frat guy thing.
Honestly,
Sure.
I kind of get like theater teacher who fucks his students.
In another life.
Yeah, Like Matt Dillon in that, what's that movie with, where he's fucking his student and the Wild Things.
Matt Dillon fucks his students.
Yeah. It's a porn. I like that movie. I like.
Wild Things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was formative. for
Yeah, me too.
That was formative in my.
big time.
Were you? That's before your time, Wild Things. But that was when it was formative for probably every bisexual, lesbian, young gal across the country.
Is there lesbians?
Yeah.
Hot-blooded male?
Yeah.
At that time, it was.
Denise Richards and Nev Campbell have a sex scene. 2 chicks.
Yeah, in a pool, like a steamy pool.
Yeah.
And,
Are they and they're students?
and Matt Dillon kind of like joins in. After a little bit, doesn't he?
Yeah. It's not. It wouldn't be released today.
It does sound like
It would not be released today.
It does sound
would,
like
but it
a
would
porn.
be released as like you could only do it as like an art film.
Yeah.
Well, that's what when I watched that one movie, Licorice Pizza, where it's like she's like fucking. How old is she? Like
She's
25?
like 20. No, she's like 21 or 22.
I think she's 25.
Yeah, and he's 15.
And he's and it's like at the end they like kiss and it's like everyone's like yay and I'm like what?
It's the 70s, dog.
Yeah.
And the girl's older.
Right. Right. No, if it was the other
How
way
old's the
around, it
boy?
would not be
15.
okay.
Oh, okay.
But he's really like an alpha.
He's a real stud.
he's not a stud, but he's an alpha. Like he's
He
Philip
is-
Seymour Hoffman's kid, the actor.
He was good.
Yeah, he was really good.
He was charming. He was
I met kids like that.
I honestly I thought he was great, but like I also felt like it was one of those movies that I was supposed to like and I just like didn't. Like I
have a
don't
tough
know.
time with hangout movies like Dazed and Confused, like those plotless A Day in the Life of movies.
Right.
Often.
That's the thing. There's no plot. Like I didn't
And that's a genre. I liked Once Upon a Time in Hollywood a lot. I feel like
I didn't see
that's
that.
like a hangout movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but I heard it's good. But yeah, like I couldn't. I don't know. I felt like am I not cultured enough to like this movie?
Yeah, it's kind of made for you. It's like a love letter to Southern California.
Yeah,
Or
well,
something that douchebags say.
I mean, I don't.
It's like a reviewer for
Yeah,
Entertainment Weekly.
I think I read that somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't really love. I don't really love Southern California.
I was gonna ask.
Being from Cincinnati.
I just don't.
Yeah, being from Anchorage.
No, I never fit. Well, like here more so, but like I more feel comfortable. But like in Orange County, I just didn't feel like I fit in at all. Like I did not feel like I belonged there in any sense. Everyone felt like very alien to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like I felt alien to them. Like, you know, when like, I feel like often this happened in conversations, you know, when like a group of people are talking and like everyone's talking, whatever, and then that one person talks and everyone just goes quiet.
Yeah.
That was me
that's me
in
too.
Orange County.
It's still me.
Yeah.
You kind of give an Orange County vibe. Where are you from?
I grew up in Maine, and then I moved to the Atlanta suburbs for
Okay.
8th grade in high school.
Do you skateboard?
No, I was really bad. I tried. I wanted to. All my friends did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you look like you would be good.
I know.
Like, this guy fucking.
I played regular
it.
sports, football, things like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Were you good?
Well, once we moved to Atlanta, I got significantly worse. But I was decent in Maine.
It's so funny. Yeah, I played sports and I wasn't good, but I was very scrappy. I was very aggressive because when I first started playing, I was small. I went through a growth spurt like boys do. Like I was like very small, and then I just went woo, and then yeah, I was still aggressive from when I was small, and so I like started getting like carded all the time,
Right.
because like I was now the same size as everybody, but like doing fucking martial arts on the soccer field, like, fucking elbowing bitches, and yeah, it wasn't good. My dad loved it. Cause it was always like if I was talking about this with my dad the other day, like he'd be proud of me if I like pushed myself so hard that I vomited, you know?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, like that. He would be so proud of me if I did that. So like I've been going to the gym and I have a personal trainer right now, and she was like, I love that you just like there have been times where she's been like, you can take a break, and I've been like, no, and I kept going.
No,
she's
I
like,
need my dad to
she's
love
like,
me.
I fucking love that, and I was like, yeah, it's because that was what made my dad proud of me, and now you're my dad, so I want your validation. And
What were your high school mascots? Like in Maine,
Wildcats.
the Wildcats. Sure.
the Vikings.
Vikings, arrows. It was just an arrow on the helmet. Yeah.
Just like a
the flying arrows.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
a boat.
Lancaster
Where'd you grow up?
arrows. Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Where?
you are Midwest. Is Wisconsin
I
Midwest?
am
Yes.
Midwest.
Hardcore Midwest.
Yeah.
Oh, Wisconsin
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
or do I
No.
give Midwest
No.
vibe?
Well, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever I meet a blonde or reddish white guy, I think he's probably from wherever the Swedes were.
Yeah.
Or the Germans,
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
Minnesota, Wisconsin.
German, Irish. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why whenever I hear Midwest, I think fat. That's like,
I know why.
That's
It's very fat.
Because
that's what,
everyone's very fat.
that's
there.
why I got
Not
offended when they said Midwest mom. I was like, you think I'm fat and old? You think I'm fat and old? Fuck you. He looks like fucking Michael Cera. He's a nice guy.
This is true. When I came out here, I had a teacher who said something about cheese not being healthy, and it blew my mind. Like
You
I did
didn't
not
know?
realize. I did not know. I truthfully did not know.
You're
that
like,
cheese
that's
in
one of
large
the main
quantities
food groups.
Was
That's-
not. I mean, if you fry it, maybe a little bit.
Sure,
but like
but-
just regular cut off a slice.
That's
like
protein.
Yes, it's good for stomach
Calcium.
Yes, it's got
Yeah.
a lot of
Why
probiotics.
why aren't you fat then?
Because I left.
Oh, but you were fat?
Um,
I'm saying this like, well, why weren't you fat
Yeah, why
then,
aren't you-
bitch? The hell?
well, you drink a lot there. It's fried. Everything is fried there.
Yes,
or
I'm
it's-
still
or
not
it's made of
seeing why
cheese.
you weren't fat.
Because I don't do those things anymore.
Oh,
But if
anymore,
if I did, like if I lived in Wisconsin, I would probably have 20 extra pounds of just because it's part of the culture. Like I wouldn't be going to a restaurant and eating certain options. It's like I'm gonna have the fried cheese curds, a couple brats, a stein of beer, a couple, and then that's like a meal. That's just like a kind of regular-ish meal.
Yeah.
That does sound good.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
God bless them.
Whenever I have been in the South, I'm like, I don't understand how anyone could be healthy here. Like, because it just, I feel like you can't even find anything healthy to eat. I guess unless you went to a grocery store and bought stuff, but just like
as a
far
traveler.
as far as going out to eat, it's like you're fucked.
Yeah, you get fat just on sweet tea. You know, just like
Yeah, sweet tea's nuts, dude.
Yeah.
It's like sludgy.
yep.
I always, that's one thing. Like when I moved to the South from Maine, I was like, I'll take an iced tea. And they're like, do you want it sweetened? I was like, yeah. And then I was like, never again. It was like sandy with sugar. It was just like drinking beach sand.
Simple
like, the
syrup.
consistency. Ugh. Fuck that shit, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even realize how much sugar is in just like regular sweetened tea, like the ones you get at like fucking Starbucks.
It's like a
I used
can
to
of
drink
Coke.
them all the time, and then I realized how much fucking sugar is in that stuff.
Can we talk briefly about my fear of podcasts? Like I have a giant fear of podcasts, just podcasting in general.
Sure.
Which is weird to me because like I feel like you like the sound of your own voice.
I do. I really do. That's
I like the sound of your voice too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't mean
It's
that
nice,
in a bad way.
Thanks.
I don't.
Should do some ASMR.
Yeah. Some books on tape, dude.
Brian, put your pants back on. Brian. that's not what this is for.
My pants do come off as soon as you guys leave. Yeah.
I don't mean that in a bad way. Like the reason I invite, because I also have a huge fear of it, which is nuts because now I do one weekly and I am so self-conscious every single time I do it. I'm so scared every time I do it. I'm scared that like, I'm like thinking like, who would fucking listen to me? Who would fucking listen to this? Like, what if I run out of stuff to say? What if this is boring? And it's just like, always what I'm thinking. I'm like, does Brian think I'm a fucking idiot right now? Like, is he like, oh, I fucking hate this?
Yeah, I wish somebody would play fucking boom bop right now to get me out of my head.
Like the whole time I'm feeling that. And so when I pick guests, I often try to pick guests that I feel like very comfortable talking to, and someone that I know can carry a conversation so that I feel more at ease. And you're absolutely one of those people.
That's why I said yes, because I knew I would be comfortable here. But every time I do it, first of all, I'm like, every ex-girlfriend I've ever had is going to listen.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And I'm going to either...
doing that.
Oh, good. More listeners.
I'm going to say something.
What's up, Doug Texas? Thanks for listening. Hope you become a permanent listener, you know?
Oh, you said Doug's exes?
Yeah.
I was like, because what I heard was like, did he date a supervillain? I heard like Dice Exes. I was like, what? Is that your ex-girlfriend's name? Dice Exes?
It would be funny if I just listed his ex-girlfriends. Hey, Susie. Hey.
Midwestern names.
Yeah. Hey, Jennifer.
Nicole.
Yeah.
I'm like, before I go in, I'm like, well, I gotta, if they're gonna be listening, I better crush it. Like, I mean, I don't want to go on and be like, wow, he's really not as funny as I thought he was back when we were dating. And then I'm also afraid that I'm going to say something that I'm like, I don't really mean that. And then it's going to be, the permanence of it.
That it's
I
just
think.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I already have hours and hours.
I have
and hours
several,
and hours
yeah.
and
See,
hours and hours.
that's what I've learned. The trick is, especially as comedians, you have to lean in. The safety is in the number of silly, crazy things that you say. And if you build up this sort of, Phil Spector wall of sound of crazy shit that you've said, then none of it matters because it's just like, oh, that's what he does. He says stupid shit sometimes and he does it en masse. So like so I'm trying to like change that because it's like, who cares what we say? Like, I mean, nobody really cares. I can make a joke, like a sexist joke here and that I don't really mean. And like, it'll, potentially go too far. And it's like, who I have this thing with cancel culture where I used to work at this social services agency, and we worked with people who were getting cycled through the system, right? So they would get into county jail and they would be released, and they were released to us, and we'd find them like housing and mental health services, all that stuff, virtue signaling. Got it. Check. Just did it.
Relax. It's good stuff you did.
No, thank you.
This is the Norm Macdonald
No, you
sitcom.
just want your exes to know that you're doing such wonderful work.
I was.
Yeah.
Well, I was.
I'm glad you quit
my job
that and
was.
started comedy.
My job was housing coordinator for. So I'd find the housing for the homeless. And until I fixed it, I got everybody taken care of, got everybody squared away, and I said,
Must not have worked in L.A.
I did. Why is it not?
No, it's not fixed. It's
not-
actually still a ton.
Well, that's because I quit. It
Right.
was when I was there. Everything
Russo's
was-
just like, we need to get Doug Fager back into social services. That's my plan.
But the people, and I think all of that stuff is great. But like the people who are all for social justice, social programs, all that stuff, would listen to a podcast of somebody who had murdered somebody, gotten out of jail, and reformed their life, right? And they would go like, yes, I will totally listen to that podcast. But a comedian says some dumb shit 5 years ago, 10 years ago, apologized for it, and they're like, cancel him, forget him, fuck that guy. But like, guy who was a multiple domestic violence, abuser,
That's
did awful,
interesting.
awful things, they'll be like, yeah, totally, forgive him.
Well,
But go ahead.
2 points on that.
Please.
One, I disagree because I think the people who
I
really
scored 3
care about
points on that. That was easy.
yeah.
No, okay.
The people, the people who are really in the weeds doing the kind of work you do often have the best senses of humor and totally get it. The people who really do it.
Totally.
That's true.
The people who are getting mad at you, they're not real. Like as far as their care, they're not putting their fucking money where their mouth is. They're not in the front lines actually, so they don't count. Like the people really doing the work are always pretty sick. Because I have a similar background to you with a lot of that kind of work. The other thing I'll say also is that what did you say at the end? You said the people. Oh. With that, now, in the defense of the people who get mad, it's easier to sorry, I'm off camera. I'm talking so long. I apologize.
No.
But Mike Tyson got accused and charged, convicted of rape. So he went to jail for 4 years in the prime of his career. So I think people are like, he had a consequence. And so the fact that these people they don't like, then you know, comedians not going to go to jail for a joke, so there's no bloodlust, there's no like satiating that bloodlust because there's no, you know what I mean? Like, so a lot of these people, they did go to jail, so they paid their time in their minds. Those are my 2 points.
That makes sense. That makes sense that they just want them to have to face consequences.
But the consequences almost, excuse me,
Outweigh the crime.
feel almost always because it's like end their career as opposed to like forgive them. And it's like one of them is like, oh, they raped a person. And you're like, okay, yeah. The other is like, I said some awful stuff.
Right.
Said some awful things on a microphone. And it's like, okay, yeah. How badly do we punish this person after they apologize? And like some of that backlash is a punishment, right? Like this person is having to come to terms
100%
with their past. But when they do, then like, what are people still trying?
Right. I think once you go, hey, I'm sorry. I don't believe that anymore. I don't say shit like that anymore. Then it's done. It's over. Fine.
Yeah.
But like
Sarah Silverman's the best example of that.
she's great.
Because they always come for her with like, every time she posts any kind of political thing, somebody will post a picture from blackface from her show.
Yeah.
And it's like, she's addressed it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I don't know. But there's not a lot of people who lost their careers over things they said, though. They just have to go to the internet. You know, like Chris D'Elia is not broke. Chris D'Elia is still touring his podcast, still crushing it. Like, he just doesn't get that mainstream love, I guess.
In some instances, I feel like it's almost like this is what I tell myself when I'm like, oh no, what if that thing I said gets taken wrong? I'm like, I'm at a point in my career where it could only help. Like if a bunch of people get mad at me and start sharing a thing that I said, then that's way more people that are hearing the things that I say.
Like a Dina Hashem type thing.
Well,
Right. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
actually, that is the instance that made me realize that. I was like, oh, she's like benefiting from that. Like, you know, because especially when you're someone who comics know and they know what kind of person you are, and they're gonna, like, bigger comics are kind of gonna come to your defense and stuff.
And you have the material to back it up because there's going to be a lot of eyes in you, and the other clips are funny.
Right.
So,
Yeah. So it just it can at this point
feels
can only
scarier
help.
than I think it really is.
I agree with that.
Because I've been through a micro cancel that was pretty extreme as on a micro level, and I deleted all my social media and totally overreacted. Felt like I was going to get killed.
Wait, what happened?
I don't want to get into it.
Oh, okay. Damn it.
But it was literally over a joke. It wasn't like anything else other than something I said on a podcast.
Yeah.
And it went nuts for a little while. But it just, like, had I just had the guts to ride it out, I'd never been through it before. So had the guts to ride it out, it just goes away. The news cycle moves. And if you Google me, you will find a few things, but it's buried between a bunch of other things. And if you're not a monster, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Well,
that being said, if you say anything that you want cut out, we're actually going to make it a clip and post it on social media.
That is how I got fucked.
Oh, okay. Great.
They clipped the worst thing I said. That's literally how I got fucked.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's so funny.
If it had just been buried in the episode, nobody would have ever seen it. But they're like, check out this clip from this podcast. Because I was a guest on somebody else's.
That's so funny because when we first started doing this podcast, when I would pick out the clips, I would try and pick out the funniest thing, which was often something that would be taken wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So like I told Brian, like, I think I kind of want this clip, and you were like, yeah, I think sometimes it's best to keep that buried in the episode.
Yeah.
Because
Let that be a little gold for your fans.
Yeah.
I try to, with your clips, it's hard because sex shit gets buried on Instagram. And the funniest stuff is always dirty. So I'm like trying to find other clips that are either at least compelling in a certain way. Maybe they're not the funniest part of them.
Wait, so the algorithm will bury a sex?
I censor it all these different ways. And it's just like... And the proof is you just go on her page and look at what gets views and what doesn't. And the dirty stuff.
And the stuff where I say pussy or cunt or whatever.
Which is the whole show.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to say something awful, this is the time right now because you won't clip it because she just said just follow it with like a pussy.
Yeah. If you're
gotcha.
going to give a political opinion, sandwich it between a pussy and a cunt.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, well, how I would solve homelessness jizz in Los Angeles is we need to get a pussy Republican.
One of my favorite things, I think I was just listening to the beginning of one of our episodes, and I was talking about the Roe v. Wade thing, and Brian goes, people don't realize it affects men too, because because who does abortions? Doctors. Who are doctors? Men.
If we ban abortion, we'll put a lot of good men out of work.
So funny. Probably wouldn't want to clip that but that's the thing. Like, the thing is, these
silly.
things are so outlandish and so,
Yeah.
like, how could you not understand that it's a joke? But people, I have seen, it's fun where Robin Tran will post stuff and then responses to some of the stuff that she put where something is so clearly a joke and someone just, it goes right, it's like, they have no sense of humor or sarcasm or nuance or anything, and they just take everything like word for word.
Yeah.
You mean this, and it's serious. And it's like, how do you live like that?
Well, and sometimes like the crazy thing that we say is parody of somebody who would actually say, like sometimes we're acting from a place of parody. Like, oh, I'm going to say something crazy because like nobody's actually going to believe that that's what I think, right?
Yeah.
And then people go, that's what he thinks. Like, burn it. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. That happens to me every other week.
It's well,
I just can't. I only have one gear.
people can see like your comedy or what you do and just like confuse that with you as a person. And in two instances, like the fact that I roast, a lot of people want to say mean shit to me because they're like, "Oh, this is what you do," and
This is
like
your love language.
Yeah, and this is what's going to get your attention, and I'm going to make you laugh because I'm calling you ugly, and like this, that you're going to love it. And and then the other thing that is just because I do talk about sex on stage and that people think I'm a huge slut. And, that's not accurate, but, but that doesn't mean I want to fuck you,
Yeah.
but yeah, we're just trying to make people laugh out here.
It's also the problem is that like you used to have to turn on Comedy Central. You used to have to pay a ticket to a comedy club to interact with comedy. And so I understand why a lot of people get mad because like you're throwing it in front of everybody. And there are a lot of people who aren't signing up for comedy and they don't get it. They don't understand it. And it's their right.
Yeah.
And it's all of a sudden in their feed. And I'm like talking about how Columbine made my life better or whatever. Yeah. And they're like, what the fuck, dude? Like, and it's like, that's not really meant for you, but there's no other way to.
But I just like keep scrolling, man.
I know.
Like just keep scrolling. You don't got to stop and try and ruin our day. Like.
Tell me, what do you think of this too? Because like, I feel like because of the cancel culture, I mean, I hate that word too. It's such a buzzy.
It's convenient though.
Cancel.
Yeah. We know what you mean.
Yeah. Like you take, here, I'll wade into some deep waters here. You take like Dave Chappelle and the trans thing, right? The trans community has turned into, and social justice warriors have turned into the culture into a thing where trans people, if you make fun of them, you're definitely punching down, but because they have the power to cancel and like ruin careers potentially, you're also kind of punching up. And so because these marginalized groups who are certainly marginalized, and like I think we do like need to be careful in how we present things about those groups, but they also, because they have the power to really kind of hurt you too, it's not just punching down anymore. It's like, and I think that's maybe some of why
they're
Chappelle
almost the establishment now.
A little bit.
Trans people are the establishment. No,
but
I bet they'd beg to differ.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, they're not. I mean, but just like almost like the internet is now, like just people on the internet, because that's who networks and stuff are listening to, which is insane. They need to stop doing that. But like, it's almost like they are the authority now.
Right. I just don't understand why all these old guys feel so compelled to talk about these issues. Like, it's like every comedian over the age of 50 has a trans bit. And it's just like, what is, why?
Sure.
I don't, I mean, like, it's like,
probably because they've all fucked one.
yeah.
And they have, like, I don't know. They have to do it to be like, I'm gay. Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like it hasn't like, I feel like, so, like, didn't, like, Eddie Murphy get caught with, like, a trans prostitute?
Was it Eddie Murphy?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Eddie Murphy, Hugh Grant, a few people did.
I bet you it's
Was
so much.
Hugh Grant's was trans?
Yeah, and he went on Leno like the day after. Crushed.
Yeah.
I bet.
That's what I think that's what took Leno's ratings over
It
Letterman's
did.
and
Yeah.
kept him up. Kept him above.
I bet you it's so many more than that, too. And it's just like, just own it. You want to fuck
Right.
a trans person.
But I think, like, I understand your point. Like, I've made a parallel point about China, where it's like you can't make a China joke, but, like, China runs the world. Like, they are the power. But, like, people call you racist. But then again, it's like most Chinese jokes are not about the Chinese government. They're about a Chinese guy, which is very, very different. So I get that.
That is true. That's, yeah.
I also think that, like, that comedians, it's how comedians process what they don't understand. So, like, and comedians don't know if a bit's working. I think comedians are so selfish in regards to, like, something that's working. They'll like ride it until, like, because it's like, oh, it's giving me that thing that I need.
I've done
it's
that.
giving it to me.
That's
in a
really
big
what
way.
it is. That's what it is.
So they don't understand it, so they're processing it, and it's getting a reaction while they're through. And by the time they maybe even have a realization that, like, that's not what they think anymore, they've already been doing the bit for fucking 6 months, and it's on a special.
Yeah.
I did this show last night. It's a great show. The Don't Tell shows are all really great. But this one was in some kind of murder dungeon. I don't know what it was, but it felt like a place where you, I don't know. It felt like the setting of the porn that I watch. But I feel like, I feel like these people, they did not want, like, my crafted jokes. They, like, anytime anyone, like, did their jokes, they were, like, very tepid and, like, not, but, like, they wanted crowd work and they wanted, like, just you to say stuff, like, riff and say stuff. And so, like, that's where I went into, that's what I did. And I was like, I feel like I'm not being funny right now, but they are laughing so hard. And it's like, I guess that's my job, to, like, make them laugh. So who cares if I think I'm being funny? But, like, yeah, I feel like comedians, we're just trying to do our job, and we find something that people are laughing at, and we go, okay, I guess I should keep doing that because
Insecure reinforcement or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because if I'm doing a joke that I think is really great, and, like, I admire people who can keep doing it. I admire people who are like, well, I like it and I think it's a great joke and I'm going to keep doing it. I don't care if they laugh or not. I can't do that. I can't do it. I don't care how good I think it is. If it's not getting, like, murderous laughs, I won't keep doing it.
I'm more than happy to bomb. I have no
I
problem
know.
with it. And but I keep doing these fucking showcase sets at the Comedy Store. And I haven't hated comedy this much in forever, where it's like, gotta kill, get up there, no experimenting. I want the hits, you know.
Do they tell you that beforehand? Do they give you
Not the other people around me or like giving me advice or whatever for the situation. And then I hate it because I have golden hits. I have some hits I can play that will work, but it's so uninteresting to me.
You know what's funny is people around me will tell me that, and then, but Emily, the booker there, always says that that's not what she wants. She goes, I just want you to go up there and have fun and do what you would normally do. And, like, I want to see you working on stuff. I want to see you, like, you know, if it's not a fully formed bit, I don't care. Like, do it. And then the next time I see you and then it's better, then I know that that's the kind of comedian you are, like, whatever. So, like, I don't know. I don't know if she means that, but I feel like from what I see from the store, like, that is, I feel like, what they want.
I should probably just let it rip.
Yeah.
Totally. Like the longer I do this, the more I'm just like, oh, it only works in a big way. If it's ever going to get to a place where I'm going to make any type of splash, it's got to be from the inside out, not from the outside in. So like, I truly like I'm getting to the place where I really don't give a fuck what the reaction is. Like if I think it's funny, like that's what I want to tell and that's what I want to work on. But like that's easier said than done. Obviously you'll be like that. I can say that I haven't been doing, excuse me, as much stand up recently, but like when you get under the hood, you know, like eating shit on stage is sometimes like trying to fix a car while you're still driving it. Yeah. And like sometimes you go, okay, I know what gets this back into gear, but I'm really trying to work on not caring at all. Just have 15 minutes of just like dead silence if necessary.
I'm working on that in life.
Sure. Yeah.
I feel like whatever kind of thing you do, whether it's like comedy or acting or writing, what you'll see is that like what you're struggling with in that thing is also probably what you struggle with in life, if that makes sense. And like I feel like that is definitely something that is a struggle for me, is just not caring. And like that's why I struggle with doing new stuff, because I don't want to I need the laughs, I need to like whatever. And so just in general in life I am that way also. I don't want to rattle any cages. I don't want to like piss anyone off. I want everyone to like me. I care so much about what people think, and it's gotta stop.
That makes sense.
And I totally understand what you mean, and like that's been a thing for me, is like every time that I'm telling a joke that's for them and not for me, then they have less of a chance to connect to me, to what I'm trying to do, and that might be like slightly satisfying because they're getting the little thing in that moment, but in the end it's so much less satisfying because what we really want to do is connect to other people and be seen and see other people. And so the more we like are tailoring it to them, the less we can, you know, actually create something truly original. And that for me like has been years of like doing the opposite, because I do, you know, like we all hunger and thirst for that like reaction. It's the first sign of success. Hey, got him. But like then it's actually kind of turns into fool's gold at a certain point, because it's actually what they want and not what I want. And they don't actually even want that. They don't even want that either. They want me. They want you, Nicole, that like is its truest sense of you. And every time I play into what they want, I'm actually not giving anybody what they want.
Have you ever dated someone and like been like, you just kind of, because you're afraid, well, probably not you either.
Get a woman in here.
I feel like women probably do this a lot, but it's like me, I have such like abandonment issues, and like I'm so afraid that someone is just gonna like, if I ask for too much, if I ask for what I need, they're going to leave me. If I, you know, am too difficult in any way, they're just going to be like, this isn't worth it, and like bounce, you know? And so like, I think I found myself just like trying to not do any of that, not ask for anything that I need, not like, and just be like this, you know, cool girl who like doesn't need anything or whatever. And then I end up getting fucking depressed because I am not happy. Like I'm not asking for what I want or what I need or whatever. And then they're not really getting me, you know, they're not, I'm not even giving them the chance to date who I am. I'm just this shell of a person who's very unhappy. And it's like that, or just like in life in general, if you are just like if you don't care and you just are who you are, then the people who like you will gravitate towards you, and the people who don't like you will gravitate away from you. And great, that's great. Same with audiences. You know, the people who like what you do will find you. The people who don't like what you do will call you fat on the internet. But like, you know, it just.
And like in a relationship, like the values, like I kind of see a relationship and all relationships as like trading partners. Like the person you're in a relationship with is like a country that they're your chief trading partner. So if you're not valuing your trade at equal values, then you're either going to have to lower yours or they're going to have to raise theirs. But if you're not valuing them, it's why like when men don't respect women, then eventually it's why relationships suffer. So going either direction, if a woman doesn't respect a man, either way, but like in large parts why like misogyny is so detrimental, in part because if you're going to be in a relationship with a woman, but inherently the male, mind has been trained to like view women somehow as less than 75% of the value of whatever this man who's walking into this relationship has, then he's going to start devaluing himself because his mirror, his trading partner, he doesn't actually value the way that he needs to. So once men start to truly value women, then they can truly value themselves. It goes the same with races. Like if you're not valuing people of different races the same, then eventually you're going to have to start devaluing yourself because all people are kind of like our value trading partners. But same with an audience. If you're not totally valuing yourself and what you're saying, and overvaluing what they need, then they're not going to, in the end, see your deepest, truest value. So it's all like value systems. Did that?
Yeah, it's like a capitalist way of looking at things,
nice.
but yeah, sure. No, I'm just kidding.
But it's why we all gotta view each other equally. One love.
We
You
assign a
too,
monetary value to our self-worth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
You know what? You're not feeling like a very good trading partner right now.
Yeah, I know.
Koki.
I just treated you like
feeling-
75 cents on my dollar.
Yeah,
Was this-
dude, don't like that.
Was this
don't
from-
like that. That's why I need to move to a new trading partner, Nicole.
You're sanctioning me.
Putting tariffs on whatever you say.
Does that come from experience? Did you see yourself valuing women at 70% in relationships? And no,
That's what you got out of everything you just
no. I do just kind of glob on the one thing. Well, it's because like I feel like, and by the way, I feel like a lot of men do this, and not even in like a misogynistic way, and like in like a almost like just self-absorbed way, in like a I'm the main character in my life and in my relationship, and everything revolves around me, and like I feel like that's just like a lack of maturity, but it's a lot of men are like that. And
A lot of mothers do that to their sons.
Yeah. They make them feel like just the fucking sun shines out their ass. And then they're like, well, this is how the whole world should treat me. And this is how my girlfriend should treat me. And this is how, and like, I don't think they're like bad people or misogynists. I just think they need to like grow the fuck up.
Deprogram?
Yeah, deprogram. Because in my first relationship that I ever had, like I felt like just a side character in his life, and he was able to just do whatever the fuck he wanted to me because I was just like, he was like this tortured soul in this main character, and I was just like someone he could hurt because I was just another person in his life who he was like, oh, I'm just like a dark person and I'm going to push everyone away in my life. And like, I was just a consequence of that. And then like, after that, I was like, no, fuck that. Like, I'm never doing that again. I'm never going to like, cause I made myself that person too, because I did not, speak up.
No, I think we've all like put ourselves in situations where we weren't enforcing our own value, right? Like you were there, you were like, well, I'm gonna do that, even though maybe you knew he wasn't giving you what you deserved, and he, at least internally, in the end, and lifted up, I'm sure, knowing that too. That's why like people like, I saw it with my dad a lot, you know, like he was a misogynist and like is, and I don't think would probably like dispute that. I think he would probably be like, yeah, you know, like,
Yeah, my dad too. He's like, yeah,
that's
women.
me. You know, and I think that that's a big thing in our culture. And I think it actually makes society more dangerous just in general. Like the way we, you know, we objectify women. Everybody kind of objectifies everybody on some level, you know, and in a good enough relationship, it's great for a little, you know, compartmentalized objectification. But like, I would see how quickly he would find something to devalue the woman that he was with, so that, and he didn't, I don't think, ever realized that's what he was doing. But, you know, whether it be their history, whether it be, you know, sexual or otherwise, you know, whatever it might be, their past, their present, he would find something that he could devalue in them, because then he could move on. He didn't have to stay. And when you feel like you should have a certain value, and then you meet somebody and you give them that value, if the mirror isn't showing you what you want, you have to like destroy it. And so like if you don't value, if the mirror that is a woman and you don't fully value that woman, you have to destroy it. If it's a person of color, then you have to end up destroying that mirror because you don't like the way that you look in it. It's not giving you, you know, and so then your world gets smaller. And that's what like has happened, you know, with my dad. It's like this world just keeps getting smaller because all of the mirrors, he doesn't view the rest of humanity with the same value. And so like, as soon as, so that person, I would guess, had to, you know, like subsumed as much value as they could in that moment, but because they weren't truly valuing you or themselves, they had to like, they just kept.
Well, like later on, I did realize that the self-absorption came from a self-hatred, and I think that can happen too. Like it's not just the people who think the sun shines out their ass. Also, if you have like just a overwhelming self-hatred, then it becomes all about you also. 'Cause you can't like give other people anything if you're just too busy fucking hating yourself.
Sure.
But yeah, how's celibacy going?
That was like, that
Was.
was one of the, what's, no,
Oh.
still
like,
still going,
whoa.
still going. No, that was part of like why I wanted to, I found myself sometimes like, you know, getting into a relationship, sexual or otherwise, or emotional, or even just like dating apps and stuff, as some sort of value fill, right? Like it was a value fill, and then, but it wouldn't last that long. And then I needed like new value, different value, because this one wasn't. And I was realizing, I think I started to, that like, oh, I was taking half of the human population and just like putting them in a category where eventually, a lot of times, if you start an emotional, sexual relationship with somebody, a lot of times that puts a time frame on it, right? Because they'll, you know, you can have a friendship, you can have sex, you can do whatever, but that's either going to end, or then somebody gets into a relationship and then that can't remain as a friendship. And it was like, I'm limiting half of the human population and my ability to engage with it in a way that actually has roots. And so I was like, okay, I got to change that for that. I also was like, you know, I think guys need options I think we're taught that like how much of a man we are, at least I kind of was, is how many girls like you. How many girls like you? how many girls can you get, you know, and that like
Lots,
all of them. Yeah. Or I got to try. I got
huge amounts. Copious.
copious pussy.
And that leads to like the idea of like commodification and female and like people as commodities. And again, it works in both directions, but I think the male, you know, like especially male American, not just American, but you know, is like getting girls equals value. And so that makes society more dangerous. Like it just was like, oh, you have to like really, really see people for people. And if I'm ever going to like look at my wife or daughter, future wife, future daughter, if I have either of those things, and like be able to receive the value that I want to give, I have to value them equally. And and that sounds a little selfish maybe, but like, if I don't value them with the fullness that I hopefully value myself, then eventually I'm going to have to either move on from that person or devalue myself so that we can have equal values. And so if I'm constantly devaluing the person across from me, then like I'm going to have to keep devaluing myself until the relationship stops working. Or we can mutually build value. And then that just overflows into each other. And like, but like,
I feel like I'm listening to you talk about stocks and bonds.
it kind of is. It's very like, but
this is like dating advice from the Federal Reserve.
It is, and not just women, but like people in general of all, you know, all races, creeds, that like if I'm like a person who does like value themselves a lot. So like I like to give that value, but if there's ever a thing where I'm like, oh, I'm like a value differential, then I'm like, oh, I'm misaligned here,
right?
Because I'm not valuing another person in the same way, and that has to like change. And then as soon as that does, then all of the mirrors that you live with, which are our human brothers and sisters here, then they're all reflecting back the value that you feel about yourself because you value them equally. You are equal trade partners with them, and they you them, they you.
Those are my pronouns too, by the way.
And then it's just a big fucking love fest. You know?
So good. Celibacy is going well.
Yeah. I mean, it's awful. It is truly, truly awful.
Are you having wet dreams?
You don't feel like you've eliminated that need.
No, this is actually my first time out of my bedroom since I started. So thank you for getting me out.
Wait, can you whack off when you're celibate?
I mean, if not, then I'm not celibate.
Yeah.
But no, I ramped that up.
Are you devaluing your hand right now?
Through the roof.
No, I wasn't gonna stop that. It's been 10 months, and it's been like fascinating how like just the friendships that I've been able to cultivate, and like not putting myself in that category or making myself like hot to the touch as far as like, oh, you're safe to like bring to a dinner with my boyfriend, you know, with somebody's boyfriend, and like all these things that maybe before when I was like, you know, always trying to
crush puss.
Please.
You can totally say no, but can I tell the story of how you first met my boyfriend over FaceTime? Do you remember this?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So Doug called me primarily to run jokes by me. For something, a roast battle or something, and he called me, and the first thing he says is, "Why is your shirt on?" My boyfriend's sitting right here, and I was like, "Hey, meet my boyfriend." Luckily, he is super chill about that shit, and like, fucking, I think, loved him immediately. It was like, that's dope. But yeah, like, That's hilarious. But I mean, like, it's funny that you
I
say
almost opened the podcast with that.
Yeah.
But to Voki. I was going to say it to Voki.
Yeah. Why is my shirt on?
Yeah, why is your shirt
It is hot in here. I think
Yeah,
we're doing the
it
next
is
pod
hot,
with an
yeah.
AC.
yeah.
We'll just edit it out.
I'm going to pop this sweater off. Go ahead.
But yeah, like
You're
we
sweating,
actually
dog.
we did used to make Tom take his shirt off when Tom used to sit in that chair. So I'm all about making people take their shirts off.
Yeah. There's also water in
yeah.
that fridge if anybody wants water.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I actually the next guest is about to be here.
Real quick, you just said something that I realized this is so random, but I've never known what the word creed means. When people say races and creed, I'm assuming it means religion.
It's a band.
Yeah, I know that. I've always assumed it meant you're religious.
Pretty sure it's like a belief system, like a creed that I live by, like whatever your internal constitution might be. And it could be more specific than that. Like it could be labeled, or it could be a religion, but
Just a
it can
system
also
of beliefs
just
or whatever.
System of beliefs.
Okay. Yeah, because people have always said no matter your race or creed, and I've never looked that word up, and I never knew what it meant. I only know the band.
I feel like there are words that you just lump with other words, and you always like say it, and you don't actually know what it means, but it always gets lumped with one other word, like
Right.
races and creed, and you just say it because
Yeah, you
that's
just add it in there.
Can
Yeah.
we? I did ask Nicole because I was like, I might get over serious on the podcast because I've just been like, just been on a serious kick of like.
Have you gotten to a silent retreat yet?
Once you stop having sex with people, you're like, I'm going on a journey of self-discovery, and you're like, all right, chill, dude. And so so
Oh yeah, I forgot to ask him to have a fart noise. queued
yeah,
up.
I
He
told
asked me
Nicole,
if-
I was like, last night I texted her, I was like, can you get like a fart noise on cue?
Oh,
Because
get
I
too
might
serious?
get, if I get too serious.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks.
yeah. It's
They-
called Everything
How I
Hurts.
It is called everything. No, this podcast goes through all sorts of peaks and valleys all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Are
if
you
you
saying that was a valley?
no,
Did you call?
Yeah,
That-
those are probably the wrong
Are you
turn of
calling
phrase.
that
My diatribe a valley in this, in this
I
show?
I would say
Wow.
it takes all kind of emotional
Okay.
turns.
yes, yeah.
I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah.
I love you, Doug.
too.
You
Follow
heard Valley, you didn't hear Peak?
I did hear Pete.
That's you. That's on you.
you. Where can people follow you?
At Doug's Got Jokes on Instagram. I don't really tweet. It's not really. I think it's like
Twitter
Doug
sucks.
Fager,
I'm
off Twitter.
but, like,
You know
yeah,
what?
I'm not
Everyone,
doing it.
don't follow anyone on Twitter. Delete your Twitter.
My Twitter account
Awful-
grew as soon as I
awful
stopped
business.
tweeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. It's funny. People say like, oh, post more to get more followers. Every time I start posting more, I lose followers. People are like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, why do I follow her? They unfollow me.
So it's like you put out an hour of
Yeah.
content a week.
Right.
What more do you need?
That being said, follow the podcast Instagram page, Everything Hurts Podcast _ podcast on Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our Clips channel. Do all the things. Comment, rate, review. Make me feel good about myself. I love you all. Thank you. Bye.
Everything hurts, everything hurts. Fucking life sucks, everything hurts.